I was a little girl, I had a very strong love and passion for the water. I always loved to be in the water or around the water. My family and I lived in an apartment complex with an outdoor pool. Every summer, they'd fill the pool. We'd go in with all the neighbors. There were a few boys and I playing and swimming and competing and doing things. And I was the last one always coming out of the water until my body started developing at, I think, the age of 10, 11 as a woman. And then basically my family told me that because of the Islamic rules and Islamic Republic, you cannot go into the pool with the boys anymore. And that was a very, very sad moment for me because the guys started doing what they were doing. Every summer they'd jump in and I would just sit on the balcony watching them with envy that they are continuing doing what they do. And then I, just because my body is developing in a different way, am not allowed to go into the swimming pool because it was exposed. And, you know, my family is not religious, but the rules of the society dictated that. They were swimming in the pool and I was watching them from the balcony upstairs and just feeling that I have all this passion that because of being a woman, because of being a girl, being born a girl, I cannot, do anything. I cannot do anything for it. I cannot practice my swimming. I cannot go play with them. I was only 11 years old. I mean, for an 11-year-old girl, it's very difficult to process all these feelings and even to understand why. Why is it that my brother can and I cannot? Although I'm even a better swimmer than many of those guys. Years passed. I was not able to swim ever in that pool until I went to university, to college, and I started practicing in the swim team of the college. All girls, of course. In Iran, swimming pools are girls only or boys only, or they switch days. And we had some college competitions for women. That was quite helpful, that I learned to practice more professionally, do short distance, of course, pool swimming. And part of my potential was also exposed there. And then after that period was over, again, I went to work and I didn't have enough time and there was not many accessible swimming pools in Iran. So again, there was another stop in my swimming passionate career. It was exactly 7 years ago when I just moved to Istanbul for work. I always was a water enthusiast. I was swimming in the pool, and then one of my friends told me that there is a race once a year that they close the Bosphorus Strait, and you jump in from under one bridge, and then you almost finish at the bottom of another bridge. And it was very, very exciting for me because the Bosphorus runs right in the mid. It's the heart of the city, and then looking at that huge body of water and imagining to swim in it was a very mesmerizing thought. And I always loved swimming. And I started training. I didn't know anyone. I was very new to Turkey, and I had a lot of fear. I was very scared of doing it, but also something inside me was calling me to go and do it. So it was like the two very opposing forces in me. I was determined to go and do it. I thought even if I die, I want to die this way rather than any other way. The day came and I basically hugged my fears and I jumped into that huge, big channel, big strait, and then I started swimming. Looking at other swimmers. Where are they going? What are they doing? I had some navigation instructions that I read on the internet. And eventually I saw the finish line. I could come out. And it felt actually quite short and easy because I had overtrained for it, of all the fear that I had. So after that finished, I felt like, oh, I could have still done another hour or so. And I started searching for longer races. So I started doing a 10-kilometer race afterwards, a few one, then another 20-kilometer swim that I organized myself with a fishing boat. And then after that, I was introduced to a group of Turkish swimmers who were going to swim the English Channel. And knowing them inspired me a lot. They also saw me swimming and said, yes, you can. I mean, you are a strong swimmer. And then I started searching for coaches and training. And with my coach, we decided to do another swim, Catalina Channel, which is between the Catalina Island in the south of Los Angeles to Long Beach. It has different challenges. And then I had to adapt myself to night swimming, to basically overcoming my fear of a shark attack. The probability is very low, but it's difficult to block your mind knowing that you're swimming in waters with great white sharks. Before the swim, one of my go-to techniques is to imagine the swim. So every time I'm training for a big swim, even if it's an hour, even if it's in the pool, I imagine myself in those waters. And then doing the swim many times in my head, which helps me a lot to basically get over my fears and all the doubts and everything that could possibly go wrong. And then on the day of the swim, of course, there are a lot of things on your mind when you go in the water, but little by little, the water washes off all these thoughts, fears, and everything. And then you get into a meditative rhythm that you basically just listen to your own breathing, look at your own arms going one after the other, sometimes look at the support boat, and then come back, and you basically live in the moment. There's no past, there's no future. It's you, the water, your arms and legs, and the boat next to you, and that is it. So that's the most beautiful feeling and calming and relaxing feeling that you can get to. Over time, I learned that what my body gives me is way beyond how it looks, and that I learned to appreciate my body in a very different way. Being in a swimsuit, being exposed to I go to the gym, I see myself in the mirror every day. I naturally compare myself with other women, younger women with nicer bodies. And then there was a time that I really did not appreciate my body and what it is capable of doing and what it makes me capable of doing. And those were very difficult times. Swimming has helped me to get to know my body and to actually learn how to love my body, because most of the time, half of the day, I'm in a swimsuit. I'm 46 years old. My body is changing every day as a woman, as a perimenopausal woman, with cellulite and fat and everything that a middle-aged woman deals with. What I knew about menopause was that at some point in my life, my periods are gonna stop, and that I'm not gonna get periods anymore. And I'd seen my mother and some older women like my aunts having hot flashes and complaining of about sweating and not being able to sleep at night. And that was it. That's all I knew about menopause. I didn't even know there is such a thing called perimenopause, which is a period of up to 8 years before the complete stopping of the periods. That there are many changes in a woman's body. It is a difficult period, which can be made a whole lot easier if we just raise awareness of what is happening. So for a while, for a few years, I had different symptoms that I always thought they're isolated, they're not dependent on each other, or they are not related to one cause, which is perimenopause. And eventually, I was so shocked that my body that was capable of doing this last year, how come now I can't even get myself to go to the gym or to go to the pool? And then eventually, after a lot of research and talking to some experts, I found out that I am in perimenopause and that these are actually normal. So just knowing that this is normal helped me deal with it a whole lot better. So there's no cure for menopause. It's a natural process of the body. But knowing that this is going to happen, although accepting it was also difficult. In reality, I think all of us at the age of 40 and above should know that we are in perimenopause. Many things that happen to our bodies, including gaining weight, gaining fat, cellulite, all of these are related. Sleeplessness, joint pain, there's a very long list. You can go and, of course, do your own research. But if things that are happening to you seem odd and unfamiliar, consider talking to an expert about perimenopause, because they can all be related to each other and they can all be completely normal. So knowing that this is normal has helped me deal with it a lot better. When the Woman Life Freedom movement started, I, of course, like every Iranian woman and every woman in the world, was very excited. I was sympathizing with those women who were uprising, who were going to the street every day, and we were very, let's say, hopeful that a meaningful change will happen after this. Until the protests, or the, let's say, response to the protests became very brutal, and they started shooting with pellet guns, shooting women, specifically targeting their eyes. And many, apparently over 500 people, have lost their eyes by those pellet shots. And then that really crushed me. For a while, I couldn't even get up every morning. I think all of us went into a state of depression, frustration, helplessness. We cannot do anything, especially all of us outside of Iran. They executed a few of the protesters, until one day I opened my Instagram page and I saw a photo of 3 of these women who had met in Tehran. They had dressed in very colorful, beautiful dresses, and each of them had put a flower on their lost eye. And they had big smiles on their faces. They're beautiful. And that photo really shook me. Basically, I feel like these women each have lost one eye, yet they had got up, put on makeup, put on colorful dresses, got together, and they're sending us this message of hope. This is not the end of it. So what can I do to contribute? Minimum, what is the minimum thing that I can do today? Then that day I said, okay, the minimum I can do today is to go to training, go back to training. I started training. I had already planned for Manhattan as a swim, as my personal swim project. And on that day in the pool, I decided to dedicate my Manhattan swim and all the trainings leading up to it to these women who have lost their eyes. And then later, after talking to some of them online and researching, I realized that they have very huge costs for their medical care and medical operations, and it's not easy to get it done in Iran. A lot of them have to leave Iran for that. So then the idea of fundraising also came in, and with the help of Iran Wire and an organization in Germany, we started a fundraising. I started training harder. That gave me also a lot of motivation to make sure that I have enough training to finish the course. And then we raised a decent amount of money that was spent on their medical care after the swim was finished.
On behalf of New York Open Water, I'd like to congratulate you on your swim.
So when we do a long swim, when you have a goal that is, let's say, 15 hours ahead of you or 15 hours in front of you, if you get into the water thinking that I need to swim for 15 hours, it's very difficult. Like you go in and 15 hours later I'll be out. Nobody likes that. But if you just think about getting to the first hour or for the first half hour even, then that makes it a lot more tolerable. So what I've learned from swimming is that to break longer projects, let's say higher goals, into smaller sections, into smaller parts and phases, and then finish one phase, stop, realize how far I've got, celebrate that, and then go to the next phase instead of looking at the end goal from the very beginning, which is a very useful skill. It's not easy, it's not intuitive, but with practice, I've learned to do this better now. Open water swimming not only has made me more conscious of my body and the connection and relationship that I have with my body, but also it has made me very conscious about how I make decisions in life and why I do things in life other than swimming as well. So it is kind of a laboratory, if you will, that you practice certain things in it. So some days I swim because I want to compete with someone. Some days I swim because I want to impress my coach and show him or her how fast I can swim. And then some days I just swim for myself. Those are the best days for performance, for the enjoyment and the, let's say, experience that I have in swimming. And that also applies to my life. So when I do things in my life that are for me, those are what I enjoy a lot better. But of course, we're human beings. Sometimes we get into comparison, competition, impressing other people. We want to take, somebody's attention. And swimming always reminds me to go back, reevaluate and see, am I doing this for myself? Or is it to, impress someone else or compete with someone else? For open water swimmers, the English Channel is the most epic swim because of several reasons. It is called the Everest of open water swimming. It has several challenges. Mankind for many centuries has always wanted to cross the Channel swimming. On a clear day, if you stand in Dover in the south of the UK, you can see the coast of France. And the distance is long. It is about 35 kilometers or 22 miles. Between June and end of September is the opportunity that, the window of opportunity to try, but also within that time, there are unfavorable tides. So there are certain periods that because of unfavorable tides, we cannot swim. There's also weather changes, storms, rain, wind, a lot of different things. So it's a very interesting washing machine kind of a feeling because there is the tide from underneath, there is the headwind, and then there is the speed of the boat and your swim that are all getting combined. Different forces from different directions get combined. Anyways, the first 4 or 5 hours, I was seasick, but I was just every one stroke after the other I was going on until eventually the seasickness went away and I started feeling better and the weather started getting better, and then I continued. And I continued until about 11 hours, and then I saw there's some movement on the deck. The captain is coming, talking to my coach, going back, bringing in maps, iPads, and then checking things and callings, and I knew something is wrong. So the pilot, after 12 hours came and, or after 13 hours, he came and said, we have two choices. Either we do another 2 cycles of tide, which is going up, coming back down, going up, and then we see where we are, and then we see if we can meet land, or we can leave this for another time. This is the very big decision and the biggest fear of every professional open water swimmer, to make the call whether or not to stop the swim after so many hours of trial and exercise. Because of all this transformation in me that I told you, and the love for my body and the appreciation that I have for my body, it was an easy decision. I thought I don't want to put my body into this extra effort just for a slight possibility that I could finish and hit a goal, or take care of my body, take it out on the boat, feed it well, shower, sleep, and then think about when I can go back in next. Despite all the costs that it has, I decided to get out, and hopefully I'll save or raise funds for another swim, and I'll go back in and finish it.
Hello everyone, thanks for your support. I am okay. Didn't want to put my body through a 25-hour swim. I was not prepared for that, and I don't think I need to do that another day. I will try again. And thank you very, very much for all your support.